Sports presents Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
Another episode of Benning Bites. I know I look like I'm kind of chill, just relaxed. I should sit up and pay attention, which is what I hope everybody did. Fantastic show yesterday. We got into this competition thing and the commitment continuum, and it took off, right? I mean, you talk about taking self-inventory on the fly. My partner, Andrew Rogers, just bearing his soul, and I don't say that loosely. Like, some of the things that we talked about, I just think it's interesting. I challenge you to go back and listen. And do with it what you will, right? You know, I'm not one of those people that's like in the habit of telling you how to do your business. We just try to, we talk, we dialogue, we hopeful that you can glean something and take it away. But just the ability to take self-inventory and take it on the fly, right? And not only that, because it's not just up to the consumer of the information, but it's also up to the people that are providing the information too, to try to create an environment and a culture that fosters trust, right? Where you listen as well as you can talk, you can receive information, because I think that's critical. We talk a lot about culture and chemistry and what it means to be on. And, you know, we heard from Michael Severe, who called in during that segment after Andrew. And the key one of the key components that I think sometimes can get overlooked or lost in that is that even if you're the disseminator of the information, there has to be this level of, I believe in you, so you can take what I'm saying to heart without being in those first two phases of the continuum. Because the first two phases of the continuum aren't necessarily positive ones. They're resistant and reluctant. Like, you don't want to be in the 1 or 2 category. You really don't want to be in the 3 either, which is just existent. But if you take the continuums as a receiver of, or as the giver of the information, you don't want people to be resistant to you. You've heard the age-old adage, well, people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. People have been saying that for 30 years, right? That's a lot of words for saying, at first blush, people operate in the resistant phase of the continuum. And if they can graduate from the resistant phase, then we're in the reluctant phase. Oh, yeah. I heard what Miss Engelhop said. Maybe you had a Miss Engelhop as your 3rd grade teacher. Or I heard what Coach Bloom said, but you're still in the resistant, reluctant phase. And I think if you're giving the information and you're trying to invest in other people, I think it's important for them to know that you come from a place of good. That means sometimes you have to take your time assessing the situation. And I go all the way back to, I'll give you an example, a por ejemplo, if you will. Remember we talked about on the show, Coach Campbell, Coach Rule, Coach Campbell, the strength coach, Coach Rule, the position coach, or the head coach, and their position coaches didn't demand or command anything of the football team in the weight room until they watched them move for a couple of weeks. They did various movements, various exercises, the famed mat drills, whatever, and they just watched body movements. Then they brought the guys in and they looked at their composites, their body types, and they said, hey, based on this, we'd like to do this. So what did that do right away? It takes you from resistant and reluctant to being credible because you'd given it time before you made an assessment and disseminated the information. So then that automatically was disarming for the players to be able to receive the information. hey, Teddy P, let's watch you move here. I know you're coming off an injury. You're carrying 338 pounds. You're on a 6'9 and a half, 6'10 frame. I'm watching you move here. We're compensating here. How about we get down to about 310? What do you think about 310? Maybe another 20 pounds less will allow you to do this and add to your quality of life. What do you think? That's different than them saying, oh my gosh, I watched those first 2 games before you got hurt last year, Teddy, and I'm just telling you, you're carrying too much weight. Same information at the end of the day, different way in which you went about disseminating it. Things like that matter. And so it's not, don't always, because along this continuum, remember the compelled part is you have such a positive mentality that no matter what the obstacles or the adversities or the distractions are, you're compelled to find a way because you train and compete at a level that you have faith not only in you, but whoever it is that you're around, whether it's the team you're leading, the team you're a part of, and they know you care. It's just, it sounds simple, but it's not always easy because we're so consumed in an I-oriented world. And it doesn't mean that you have to concede hierarchy or leadership roles. It's not, well, everybody can have an opinion, so we arrive at this mutual thing. No. It's still a leadership coaching component hierarchy level, but everybody operates on the same continuum. It's different. Even the coaching staff as overseers or your boss or your administrative team operates under the same continuum you do. There's just a hierarchy in terms of how information is relayed and received. That's okay. Somebody has to be in charge. Equal opportunity amongst leadership and employers, and coach and players leads to anarchy. Fundamentally, it doesn't work. History shows us it doesn't work. There is a thing called best practices. So the totem pole or hierarchy, if you will, is necessary, but different rules within that continuum aren't necessary, if that makes sense. It brings all the age-old adages to light. The whole, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? That's just, we're giving you step-by-step deals for a baseline to take inventory on the fly. And everybody is subject to it, but it's not all administered the same. Does that make sense? Everybody is subject to it, but it's not administered the same. That's how you get this cute phrase called modeled behavior. The staff can't ask you to do anything that they're not willing to do or hold themselves accountable to and for. Right? Your favorite bosses, your favorite teachers, oh, they never asked me to do anything that they weren't willing to do themselves. That's really what you're saying. We're just giving it built-in benchmarks along the way so you can take some inventory. It's a beautiful thing when you watch it happen. We'll follow up more here in just a few minutes on Coffee and Cream. Make sure you give my man Andrew Rogers a follow. He's at Andrew Rogers CC, Coffee and Cream. We'll have its own RSS feed here shortly. We're working on it. Ask and we shall try to deliver. Google, Apple, Spotify, however you get us, make sure we're a part of your day. We appreciate you. It's another episode of Benning Bites.